Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And the end of this year is approaching very quickly, and it's pretty much over, right? We only have like one more month to go. And Nike for the past year has been kind of lacking in my personal opinion. As far as like originality goes, a lot of their hoop shoes are very similar in tech, and yeah, nothing too exciting in my personal opinion. But of course, in this video, we're gonna be talking about the best Nike basketball shoes that you can get right now. This is just my personal opinion, of course. But yeah, if you guys do want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave the free link in the description box. If you do choose to get any of these shoes, it does help me out if you buy it through the free link in the description box. And also, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the socks that I've been wearing in all my videos. So it's actually my brand. It's called Young Hone, and it's a very versatile sock. I want to make a sock where you can go out, you know, and casually, but also be really comfortable in. It has a lot of padding compared to like a really, just a normal sock, you know what I mean? And also it's a lot warmer as well, especially since it's getting cold, but also it has a little bit less padding than a traditional basketball sock, because I want something a little bit more minimal. So it's a great sock to just work out in, but also play basketball in. And it's a very simple, great looking sock. So if you do want a really nice, versatile sock, a link to my website will be in the description box below. It is available for pre-order, so it'll take a couple of weeks if you do order it. And if you do order it, thank you guys so much for all the support as always. But let's get it started off with, okay, so first of all, Jordan Brand is part of Nike, so I'm gonna be including some Jordan shoes. But to be honest, like Jordan Brand has been kind of lacking. You know what I mean? Like all their hoop shoes, right? So the Lucas, the Tatums, the Zions, even the Jordan, like Michael Jordan's shoe is not super nice. You know what I mean? So anyways, we have 11 shoes. I'm trying to, you know, keep more of like the newer shoes on this list. So like if you can get it on the Nike website, I try to keep it on this list, but not like the older shoes, right? For example, like the LeBron 21, like the GT Jump 2 is super old. The GT Cut Academy is pretty old as well. So, but by the way, the GT Cut Academy is super duper nice, and that shoe's on sale for like 70 bucks right now. So, probably get that shoe, but I didn't put in the list. But anyways, I do have some shoes that you should definitely stay away from, in my personal opinion, right? So let's get it started off with the Tatum 3. The Tatum 3 was a huge disappointment, but was I really expecting a lot? No, I guess not really. You know what I mean? I wasn't really like, first of all, it doesn't look that good, you know what I mean? But when I saw the tech, I was like, oh, it might be nice, but there's a lot of aspects about that shoe, in my personal opinion, where it just is not good. First of all, the support is absolutely horrendous, right? The upper is not supportive, you know? Even in the, not just in the forefoot, it's a really stretchy, like soft material, but also in the heel. So the upper is not supportive. The traction is really bad on dust. If you're playing on a clean court, however, it's a very nice bite, right? But on dust, it picks up a lot of dust, and so it slides around a lot if you're playing on a dusty court. Also, the cushion is not that nice, right? The forefoot zoom unit is nice. It has a nice little bounce. The cushion on it is really nice for stepping comfort. Court feel is great, but if you're doing heel strikes or doing like hard impacts, your feet are gonna hurt a lot, especially in the heel, which kind of sucks. So yeah, don't get the Tatum 3s. Also, another shoe that you probably shouldn't get is the GT Hustle 3. It literally feels like a running shoe. I don't know how Wemby is playing in that shoe. It's crazy. He has huge feet. So yeah, he probably has like size 20 feet or whatever. So maybe that kind of cancels out the cushion being super high up off the ground. I don't know how that scales. But either way, for normal people, or from my experience at least, it's just a terrible shoe, right? The cushion is just too crazy, you know? It literally has way too much compression in the heel. It's just unstable. Way too much balance in the forefoot as well. It's a double stack zoom unit, and I guess if you want a lot of cushion, you want something like crazy, the craziest cushioning setup that you've ever tried, and maybe that's fun for you, then yeah, go ahead. But for me, and just like recommending it to you guys as well, I probably wouldn't recommend it to you guys. So just probably stay away from those shoes, you know? And also the Zion 3, right? Or not the Zion 3, the Zion 3 SE. The Zion 3 SE is, I did not like that shoe. The regular Zion 3 definitely, I feel like is a lot better because it has a thinner material, right? The SE, like that leather or whatever material that they're using, is just way too thick, way too stiff. The regular Zion 3 has that like nice textile material. It's a lot thinner. It's way lighter as well. And of course, the cushioning setup is better in the SE, but it's not like that much better, you know. But anyways, let's get it started off with the list. Sorry. So I got 11 shoes, and starting off at number 11, we got the Giannis Immortality 3. So performance-wise, I definitely feel like it is definitely the weakest on this list because it's obviously it's the cheapest shoe on this list. It's 85 bucks. And so it's lacking a lot of tech, of course, right? The traction overall is pretty solid, especially once you break it in, but it's not top tier. The cushion is definitely lacking, you know what I mean? It's not bad though, you know, it's using full length Renew foam, and there's a little bit of compression in the heel, you know, but overall it's not that nice. And then the upper, it's really stiff, so you do need to break it in, but once you break it in, it's pretty nice. Overall support is adequate as well, but it's a really snug fit, you know, really tight fit. So yeah, because you know it is lacking tech, and it's just kind of like it's all right, you know. It's at number 11 for me. All right, moving on to number 10, we got the Jordan 39. So that shoe, what is that shoe, like $200? You know what I mean? But the tech is super nice, but yeah, first of all, the traction, if you're playing on a clean court, it's super nice. You have a great stop, but it does pick up a lot of dust. It's a dust magnet, so you're gonna need to wipe a lot, and also you're gonna be sliding around a lot if you're playing on a super dirty court. So probably stay away from that shoe if you're playing on a dusty court, just like the Titans. But I do like the overall cushioning setup, right? The cushioning setup is super soft. You get a lot of compression and also a lot of bounce. But I would say it's borderline a little bit too much for me. You know what I mean? Like if you want something crazy, then it's super nice. But you know, at some days I really enjoyed it, you know, if I wanted something crazy, but also some days if I wanted something more responsive and also like, you know, not as crazy for the compression, then I didn't really like the Jordan 39, you know. So the cushioning setup is, you know, on and off for me. The upper is pretty nice, and also the overall support is good, but also the lateral stability isn't the best, you know what I mean? There's no outrigger, and although it is entirely caged for the cushion, it's still very, very soft because of the ZoomX foam, which made the lateral instability kind of bad. So yeah, that's why it's at number 9, right? So I'm gonna just be straight up with you guys. I'll probably just get the shoes that are in the top 5 for this list, because Nike, again, hasn't been they've been lacking, you know what I mean? So there's number 10. Moving on to number 9, we got the Nike Book 1. So the Book 1 is overall pretty nice, you know what I mean? The traction is nice. It has a really good stop on a clean court. It does pick up a little bit of dust, however. The cushion, however, is a little bit of a disappointment, right? So it is really thin, so the overall impact protection isn't great, because the foam is very thin, right? It's great for court feel and responsiveness, but impact protection is good. Also, the upper is really comfortable. I love the padding in the ankle area. The tongue is super plush, very, very comfortable, you know, but the lateral containment in the forefoot definitely was not the best, right? It wasn't terrible, but it was kind of bad, you know? So again, like I could definitely make the Book 1 work, but it's definitely not up there in terms of performance in my personal opinions. But also there is that full-on leather material, you know what I mean? Like I have the like the suede material, it's like a little bit softer. There is that rattlesnake color with the like full-on leather, so maybe that might be a little bit better for support. But anyways, there's number 9. Moving on to number 8, we got the Luca 3. So the Luca 3 is extremely nice. I thoroughly enjoyed playing in that shoe, but it's just the traction performance is really freaking bad. Like it just picks up a lot of dust. It's a dust magnet, and also it doesn't really bite through dust that well. And it's once you wipe it off, it's still like kind of like slides, you know what I mean? It's just a really bad performer on dust, you know. So that's why it's a lot lower on this list. But if you're playing on a clean court or slightly dusty court, great shoe, right? Cushion also is super nice. I love the compression. Overall court feel, I would say, is around average, but impact protection is great. It's super comfortable, very plush, and also pretty responsive. And I really like the upper as well. It's really comfortable. It has a little bit of thickness to it, but it's not super bulky, right? And it just gives it a nice kind of support and also coziness to the entire upper. The back of the shoe also has nice padding. The overall support of the shoe is great. So Luca 3 is really nice. Just play on a clean court, right? All right, moving on to number 7, we got the KD17. So the KD17, I was pretty disappointed in, you know what I mean? I would definitely say the KD17 is the worst performing KD out of, since like the KD even 12, you know what I mean? I would say it's the 17 is a little bit better than the 11, but anyways, traction is good. You have a really nice stop on a clean court. However, again, it picks up a lot of dust. And maybe it's because it's fully translucent, and I guess like all the shoes that I've tried with bad traction have had translucent outsoles, right? Like the Jordan 39, the Book 1, you know, the KD17 it has translucent. Also the Luca's. So anyways, yeah, picks up dust, you know. I definitely wouldn't say it's as bad as the Luca's, however. So that's why it's a little bit higher up on the list. But the cushion is definitely a little bit of a disappointment, especially because of that plastic thing in the forefoot. Why would you do that? But the cushion has nice compression in the heel. But also the overall material is comfortable. It's thin, you know, with that mesh material. But for 150 bucks, 160 bucks, it's terrible quality, first of all. And second, it's not good for support. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing crazy hard lateral cuts, lateral movements, crossovers, you know, step backs, you're gonna feel your foot coming out of the footbed a little bit, especially in the forefoot, you know. So I definitely wish they would have added something there, you know what I mean? So again, like KD17, I probably wouldn't recommend. The Lucas are probably a little bit better, you know, but again, the dust performance is just so bad. And it's a lot worse than the KD, so it's kind of a toss-up, man. I didn't know which one to put higher. But anyways, there's that. Moving on to number 6, we got the Jaw 2. So the Jaw 2 overall is pretty nice. I enjoyed playing in it, but it's just the cushion is definitely not great, right? So it's not as bad as the Tatum's though, so that's a good thing, right? But if you are looking for a well-cushioned shoe, probably stay away from the Jaw 2, right? It doesn't have the best impact protection, right? But I do like the forefoot zoom in. It has a little bit of bounce. It has a little bit of compression in the heels, so, and the court feels really good, right? The traction overall is pretty dang nice, you know, has a really nice stop on a clean court and picks up pretty minimal dust. The overall support of the upper also isn't the best, however, right? It's a really soft mesh material, and also in the midfoot, it's not the most supportive. It was adequate for me, but if you need a lot of support, I don't think the Jaw 2 is the best option. So a little bit of a disappointment, and I definitely feel like the Jaw 1 is a better performer than the Jaw 2, right? All right, moving on to number 5, we got the LeBron 22. So yeah, this shoe is really nice, but again, dust performance is not the best. At first, however, it was terrible, so I really hated the shoe, but once I broke it in, it actually got pretty good, right? Again, it's not as bad as the Lucas or the Tatums, but the LeBron 22 still is a little bit of a dust magnet, right? So if you're playing on a moderately dusty to like a really dusty court, do not get this shoe, or maybe get the solid rubber option, because the colorway I got is translucent. But if you're playing on a really clean court or a slightly dusty court, if you keep up with your wipes, you're gonna have a really good time, because the traction has a really good stop, right? The cushion also is top tier. You have a forefoot, top-loaded forefoot zoom turbo unit. The heel, you know, there's a bottom-loaded zoom unit, as well as Cushlon, has a nice little bounce, and also a very good impact protection. Overall court feels okay. The upper is really comfortable and cozy, and the overall shoe is very supportive. So LeBron 22, very solid. It's just traction on dust, right? All right, moving on to number 4, we got the Zoom Freak 6. So the Freak 6 definitely has way better traction performance than the LeBron 22, right? So it stops almost just as hard. I would say the LeBron 22 on a clean court stops just a tiny bit harder, but Freak 6 also pretty much top tier. But it picks up a lot less dust, right? It picks up a little bit of dust, but way less than the LeBron 22, and also like most of the other shoes on this list. But also it's a pretty easy wipe for the Freak 6, right? You just do a slight wipe and you're good to go, and you have good stops again. The cushion is a little bit underwhelming, but it's definitely not terrible, and also it's better than like the Jaw 2, right? You have, it's not as low to the ground as the Jaw 2, but it has better impact protection, right? And also the forefoot zoom unit has a little bit of bounce. The overall support is adequate, although it's not the most supported shoe, but I really like how thin that material is. It's just a really thin material and a very lightweight shoe. So the Freak 6 is very, very nice, right? All right, next we got, coming at number 3, we got the Kobe 8 Protro. So yeah, I wanted to put the Kobe's on this list because it's kind of available, you know what I mean? Like on Nike.com, they kind of released some like team colorways, you know, basic colorways, which are still available in limited sizing, however, but it's still kind of available, as opposed to like the Kobe 9 Protro, which is why I didn't put that shoe on this list. But anyways, the Kobe 8 Protro, really, really nice. You have amazing traction on a clean court, very minimal dust pickup as well. The cushion also with the full length, you know, React drop midsole is pretty dang nice, although they changed it up a lot comparing to the old Kobe 8, like the original Kobe 8. I definitely feel like it wasn't like a downgrade or anything like that. So the cushion definitely is an upgrade, right? The upper is very minimal, but also the lockdown and support of that shoe is really good, especially for how lightweight and how minimal that shoe feels on foot. So yeah, definitely the Kobe 8 Protro is really, really nice. Next, of course, we got the GT Cut 3, a little bit of an older shoe, but definitely still a very solid option. One thing that I really like about that shoe is that it has a really nice springy feel to it. Do I have it right over? Yeah, I have it right over here. So As opposed to like the Freak 6, right? It's just more of like a flexible, it has a little bit of springiness to it, right? But it's more flexible, right? But the GT Cut 3, it has a lot more tension. You have to put a lot more force into it. And also, you guys, really nice spring to it, right? So when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, it has a really nice springiness to it. Kind of like helps you feel a little bit more explosive, right? Also, the traction is really nice. You know, if you're playing on a clean court, top tier traction, picks up a little bit of dust, but if you keep up with your wipes, you're good to go. The cushion also definitely was a huge disappointment because it is using Zoom X, so I thought it was gonna be super nice. It's not super nice, but I would say it's okay. You know, overall impact protection is okay, and you know, there's a little bit of heel compression, not super bouncy. The overall upper definitely sucks for the quality, especially for the price. But it is on sale. You know, it's a pretty old shoe, and it does get the job done on foot. It's like thin, overall supportive. You know, so yeah, the GT Cut 3 is a great option, although the price kind of sucks. And then moving on to number 1, of course, is the Nike Sabrina 2. And yeah, that's kind of crazy, but the Sabrina 2 is amazing. I have it right over here. Alright, so amazing traction, of course, top tier traction, picks up very minimal dust. The cushion with the Cushlon, you have nice compression here in the heel. Adequate impact protection. You have a 4-foot zoom unit, which adds a little bit of balance, which feels good. The overall upper is adequate in support, however, it's not the best for support, right? So for most people, I feel like it should be okay, right? And overall, it's a really thin material too, lightweight shoe, just a great overall shoe for guards in my personal opinion. So the Sabrina 2, definitely they did a great job, right? So yeah, that is my list for the top Nike basketball shoes of 2024. Definitely a little bit of a disappointment comparing to last year or like the past couple years. The past couple years, it was a lot better in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like, you know, it's just played out. You know, they use Cushlon and everything. It's just a 4-foot zoom in all their shoes, you know? And the material quality is definitely lacking, especially for the price for a lot of their shoes. So that kind of sucks. So hopefully they bring it back a little bit next year, kind of like how Adidas did. You know, Adidas came back with a vengeance, and their hoop shoe lineup this year is absolutely amazing. But anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave in the link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.